Since you liked my sexy voice in the previous video, today we'll move on to the second strongest build in the game, Firearms. Every player should have at least 8 characters, each specialized in a specific build, 5 dedicated to combat and 3 for other functions. While with bows and crossbows, you approach the game with a stealthy and silent style, using the stealth attack, which by crouching gives you a damage bonus of 2.5 times or 3 times with a critical hit. Headshot, just to clarify. On the other hand, with Firearms, we unleash chaos. The noise attracts the animals. Seems obvious, right?
In the previous video, when I was talking about the bow and crossbow build, I mentioned that the total talent points obtained by level 60 were 96, plus the 7 extra from the missions. However, I need to make a small correction. The total obtainable talent points are 90, plus 7 extra from the old missions and 6 from the new Great Hunts missions. More specifically, Quarrite, Olympus, Earthquake mission, 2 extra talent points. Garganutan, Styx, Extinction mission, 2 extra talent points. Rimitusk, Prometheus, Glaciation mission, 2 extra talent points. So the total is 103 talent points.
Now let's build the best Firearms build. The backbone of every build requires the use of 63 talent points to unlock the essential abilities. Increased weight capacity, turn wood into sticks, wood is automatically gathered, weight capacity, max stamina, max health, +1 space and stomach, movement speed, elemental protection. This is the core of every strong and complete build. 103 minus 63 equals 40 talent points left.
In the combat category, we're focusing on the Firearms branch. We'll unlock everything in the first row to reduce crafting costs on ammo and get the minus 25% carry weight of firearms. Everything in the second row for fast reload on pistols, shotguns, and rifles. Everything in the third row plus 10% damage with pistols, shotguns, and rifles, and plus 10% movement speed with a firearm equipped. Being as agile as possible is necessary, maybe to dodge a bear or get away while reloading. Freebies with 5% is useless, but we have to unlock it to progress. Gunsmith, minus 20% wear rate of firearms, absolutely yes. Focus fire, plus 25% accuracy with firearms, absolutely yes. Sharpshooter, plus 15% critical damage with firearms. What do you think? In the last row, how many shots did you count? Doesn't really make sense. Wasting 2 talent points for a 10% chance to not consume ammo when firing means 1 in 10 shots. So we'll unlock New Life, minus 30% chance for firearms to recover durability instead of breaking. Every shot that would break the weapon has a 30% chance to increase its durability. That's amazing. Total points spent, 34. 40 minus 34 equals 6 final talent points. Now you can decide where to use the last 6 points. The build is already devastating, but I would make it even more devastating.
So, in the Adventure category and the Husbandry branch, Well Cared For, 2 talent points, Grazing for the Herd, 1 talent point, Back in the Saddle, 2 talent points. And finally, the one that matters to us, Rapid Adoption, plus 10% stealth damage. In the solo points, compared to the bow-crossbow build, the only difference is the choice Bring a Gun to a Gunfight, plus 10% damage and reload speed with firearms instead of honed heads. This is the best possible build to maximize the power and effectiveness of firearms. The chemistry bench doesn't have any tonics that can provide direct benefits to firearms. So let's move on to the advanced alteration bench. There are 4 armors that complete and maximize the perfect firearms build. Depending on the context, and I repeat, depending on the context, the choice should always change. By context, I mean specific situation, playstyle, and personal skills. The composite armor is generally the strongest because it already provides physical resistance, elemental protection, and plus 30% health and stamina regeneration. It can become even stronger with upgrades, and especially with the helmet, which grants plus 15% critical damage with the tracking attachment. Needless to say, in every boss fight, we'll be using this one. The obsidian armor, on the other hand, offers even higher base physical resistance and plus 50% explosive resistance. For those using explosive rounds at even very close range, it gives a little extra protection. The ST-700 armor, thanks to minus 35% perceived and plus 15% stealth damage, is perfect for a slightly stealthy approach. The Rime Tusk armor, with plus 15% chance to cause freeze on hit with attacks, becomes deadly when paired with a high fire rate weapon like the submachine gun. 15% on every single one of the 20 rounds in the magazine fired rapidly, that's a lot of probability. The Larkwell Martinez Mercenary Backpack is the only backpack that gives a direct bonus to a weapon. In this case, to the shotgun. Plus 25% ammo capacity, plus 25% reload speed, plus 25% damage.
Unlike the bow or crossbow, where the key factors are fire rate per minute, reload speed, charge speed, and projectile damage, in a firearm, on the other hand, what mainly matters is the magazine capacity and the fire rate per minute, especially when we're talking about assault rifles or automatic weapons. For a shotgun, the most important factor is projectile damage, while for a sniper rifle or reconnaissance weapon, it's critical damage, headshot, plus stealth damage. And depending on the situation, we'll choose the appropriate weapon. The best upgrades are the following. Advanced hand cannon attachment, plus 40% projectile and critical damage, 60% hardened point penetration, minus 15% fire rate. Devastating. Obviously, this is the mandatory choice for pistols and submachine guns. These use the same 9mm rounds as pistols and the same upgrades. Advanced silencer attachment, 40% stealth damage, minus 30% perceived threat. Can be applied to all weapons, but we only get the damage bonus on the first stealth shot. It's not useful for close-range weapons against a strong enemy, but that 30% can reduce our visibility. Advanced flexible frame attachment can be applied to all weapons, but honestly, I don't see the point. Barrel widening attachment, plus 40% projectile damage, minus 40% accuracy with shotgun, minus 25% critical damage. It's a shotgun. We don't need to make headshots, so critical damage isn't necessary. Advanced silencer attachment, the 40% projectile damage from earlier is permanent on every shot, including the first stealth shot, so it's not useful. Advanced narrow barrel attachment, plus 40% accuracy, plus 25% critical damage. It's a shotgun, absolutely useless. Advanced sniper scope attachment, plus 60% zoom while aiming, plus 35% critical damage, 50% hardened point penetration. It's the only attachment for sniper rifles, and definitely better than the advanced silencer attachment. Important note before proceeding. For the same percentage, for example, plus 15% stealth damage is better than plus 15% critical damage. With the first one, I crouch and activate stealth damage, then that damage applies the plus 15% stealth and critical damage if I aim for the head. With the second, I crouch and activate stealth damage, and only by aiming for the head, or weak point, do I apply the plus 15% critical. So the order of importance is projectile damage, stealth damage, critical damage.
Are traps considered weapons? The difference lies in intention and in usage. A firearm is a weapon. A trap, instead, is a mechanism, physical or conceptual, designed to achieve a goal. But when that mechanism causes damage, it effectively works as a weapon. The Great Hunts Campaign's DLC introduced new types of traps. Fun, original, and definitely creative. Lava Hunter Bomber Mine. When an animal enters the mine's radius, it releases 5 explosive lava flyers, kamikaze style. Rime Tusk Snap Trap. When triggered, the mine causes hypothermia, minus 50% maximum stamina, minus 50% stamina regeneration, and minus 10% water movement speed. Black Wolf Claw Trap can cause light wounds and even deep ones. Scorpion Pincer Trap, pinned for 5 seconds, minus 100% movement speed. Makeshift Landmine, minus 50% movement speed, but 500 explosive damage. The least useful ones, in my opinion, are definitely the Black Wolf traps. The others, I love them all.
With the Great Hunts DLC, new grenades have also been introduced. Quarrite Grenade, 200 explosive damage and radius plus 1,000. These are spectacular, as upon explosion, they release Quarrite caltrops, each of which slows movement speed by 50% for 4 seconds. Hammerhead Grenade, 150 explosive damage and radius plus 750. A sticky grenade that attaches to whatever it lands on, then explodes shortly after, leaving behind a pool of slime obtained from a hammerhead slug. Gargantuan Grenade. Creatures attack each other, particularly useful in chaotic moments. Smoke Grenade. I don't think I need to explain what this one does. Frag Grenade. 1,000 explosive damage and radius plus 1,500. Devastating. Impact Grenade. 750 explosive damage and radius plus 1,250. They explode on contact with no need to wait. It's a shame that both traps and grenades require boss drops to be crafted, and there's only one new monster per map.
I don't think I've ever used the flamethrower. Honestly, I don't really see the point, unless it's just for pure fun. But I'm not sure how fun it really is when you have to refill it with biofuel. Let's start talking seriously about weapons. The one-shot pistol has only 1 shot in the magazine. It has the lowest fire rate among pistols and 2 seconds of reload time. The semi-automatic pistol has 6 shots in the magazine, plus 100 fire rate per minute and 2.95 seconds of reload. It starts to be a decent pistol, but we want only the best of the best. The Chac Sentinel pistol is the second best pistol in the game, but it must be purchased from the Space Store. It has plus 25% projectile and critical damage, plus 6 magazine capacity, plus 115 fire rate per minute, 2.35 seconds of reload, really fast. The advanced pistol is slightly weaker than the Chac, but with the advanced hand cannon attachment, it becomes much stronger. Base stats, plus 15% projectile and critical damage, plus 8 magazine capacity, plus 110 fire rate per minute, 3.05 seconds of reload. All pistols can take down the weaker creatures with a stealth critical shot from a really surprising distance using simple 9mm base rounds or 9mm armor-piercing rounds. I'd say it's a surreal distance. When used with 9mm Chac ammo, the projectile damage increases by 200, making them even more powerful. As always, other ammo types to consider are 9mm explosive round and 9mm obsidian round.
The bolt-action rifle is a single-shot weapon with a fire rate of 120 in line with pistols and a 3-second reload time. On paper, it should reach longer distances than a pistol, but in reality, it's worse, and it even suffers from ghost bullets. Shots very often miss the target. With the advanced sniper scope attachment and 60% zoom, it improves slightly. But honestly, any pistol is better than this weapon.
The first old shotgun was useful when there were practically no weapons in the game. I wouldn't even stop to analyze it. It's not terrible if you use the 12-gauge slug. The Quarrite gun, added with the Great Hunts DLC, may seem useless if used with a build not optimized for weapons. The nice thing is that it only works with simple stone, so infinite and free ammo. Each stone shot splits into multiple hits, with a magazine that holds a total of 25 shots, but you have to be at a really close distance. The trench shotgun is extremely powerful. Its stealth critical shot is monstrous, as I will show you later in action. But even in body shots at close range, it doesn't joke around. It has plus 30% projectile damage, plus 8 ammo capacity, plus 80 rate of fire, and 0.65 seconds reload. Fantastic. The Chac Boomstick shotgun has plus 60% projectile damage, plus 25% critical damage, plus 6 ammo capacity, plus 60 rate of fire, and 0.65 seconds reload. Without that plus 25% critical damage, it would lose the comparison with the trench shotgun enhanced with the barrel widening attachment. The beauty of shotguns is that while the 12-gauge slug fires a single shot effective even at medium range, the other ammo types explode, creating multiple damage, and the projectile damage refers to the individual pellets exploded by the projectile. It's the only weapon where the variety of ammo types is really effective. The choice is yours.
The Chac Sovereign Rifle has 6 rounds in the magazine, a good fire rate, fast reload speed, and solid damage. It's effective at both short and long range. The hunting rifle, on the other hand, deals more damage, both on body shots and critical hits. However, it's slower than the Sovereign, so it's not ideal at close range, especially when facing multiple enemies. The real downside is that neither of them has an optical sight, which takes away some of their appeal.
The assault rifle seems to have been designed to deal damage in body shots, since it has minus 75% critical damage, and trying to hit an enemy in the middle of our field of view, it suffers terribly from Ghost Bullet. Now, with the advanced sniper scope attachment, the minus 75% critical damage becomes minus 40%, and the difference is really minimal, choosing the advanced silenced attachment that would increase stealth damage by 40%. It only has 15 shots in the magazine, and the 300 fire rate per minute doesn't seem to provide that speed. It is probably the most unbalanced weapon in a negative sense in the entire game, and it really needs a revision. It's hard to believe that pistols seem like snipers, while an assault rifle often shoots blanks. Too bad. It's still a solid weapon, but there's better out there.
Ladies and gentlemen, here we have the absolute monster, the Submachine gun. It's the most versatile, complete, and strongest weapon in Icarus. In one word, devastating. It's fun to use and perfectly balanced in a good way. Minus 25% projectile damage, minus 75% critical damage, plus 20 ammo capacity, plus 400 fire rate, 3.2 seconds reload time. What can I say? The only real downside is a slightly slow reload. Other than that, it's God tier against any creature or boss.
For those who haven't seen the previous video on the perfect bow and crossbow build, I explained how important food is in Icarus and the impact it has on gameplay. I won't explain how to unlock the 5th stomach slot, but if you're interested, I've left the link in the video description.
The dishes that provide critical damage, projectile damage, and reload speed are always the same. If you don't have good aim to hit a specific critical spot, I'd recommend using 5 dishes that give projectile damage. In my case, regardless of the weapon, I'll always use only Bacon Buddy plus 25% critical damage, Carrot Cake Piece, Pickled Carrot, Shepherd's Roll, and Roast Vegetables for projectile damage.
In this chest, you'll find the weapons with the best possible upgrades. I will test a list of creatures to measure the highest possible stealth critical damage, comparing the performance of different weapons. Chac ammo, basic round, obsidian, explosive, and cold round, especially if you're using the Rime Tusk armor, are the best choices for each type of weapon. If an enemy is particularly weak to a specific element, simply press the J key on the keyboard to access the Bestiary. This way, you'll discover the weaknesses of each creature and unlock bonuses by filling the progress bar. From theory to concrete numbers. The 9mm Chac ammo has the highest projectile damage, 200, among the available pistol ammunition, but of course, they need to be purchased from the Space Shop. It's not essential to do so unless you want to take down a bear with a single stealth headshot. As you can see from the tables, the advanced pistol is extremely solid even with the 9mm rounds, projectile damage 150. Their damage is comparable to the Larkwell-Martinez compound bow with composite arrow. The numbers highlighted in green indicate kills with a single stealth headshot. There's not a big difference between the two pistols when using the same ammunition. However, against stronger enemies, like the Rime Tusk, for example, I used 5 rounds with the advanced pistol to take it down. With the Chac Sentinel, I had to reload the magazine and use 7 shots in total. With the buffs from the tracking attachment and food, the damage is always monstrous. 7,231 even outperforms the 6,334 from the titanium crossbow with the Larkwell-Martinez piercing bolt. The advanced pistol with the advanced hand cannon attachment is the winner.
The bolt-action rifle, as the numbers show, reaches monstrous damage right from the start, with no buffs active. The difference in projectile damage between the 7.62 mm CHC and the 7.62 mm is almost imperceptible. By sacrificing a bit of damage and taking advantage of the reload speed from buffs of other types of food, it wouldn't be such a useless weapon, if it weren't for the fact that it suffers terribly from ghost bullets, as mentioned before. The hunting rifle was the strongest weapon in the game when the one-pistol shot and the old shotgun were available. If the maximum damage of the bolt with the 7.62 Chac ammo is 102.77, here we have 12.511. This weapon can even kill a rhyme tusk with craftable 7.62 mm with a single stealth headshot as long as you have the buffs active. It can kill a creature from miles away. The Chac Sovereign loses a lot of power compared to its rival, but it's still faster, with double the fire rate to be precise. And since the damage isn't halved compared to the hunting rifle, it remains a fantastic weapon, adaptable to different scenarios. The hunting rifle, by the way, is still one of the strongest weapons in the game, both at close range and from the other side of the map.
Unlike the hunting rifle, which kills at terrifying distances, shotguns have always been designed to devastate anything in front of you. Sure, the 12-gauge slugs work well at mid-range too, but that's another story. Between the trench shotgun and the Chac Boomstick, I really wouldn't know which to choose. 12,335 or 13,319, does it really make a difference? 8,331 or 8,967, does it really make a difference? The fire rate is almost identical, and the magazine capacity slightly favors the trench shotgun. Then, when wearing the Larkwell-Martinez mercenary backpack, they become even faster, more capable, and more powerful. A must-have in your inventory.
With this build, any weapon can easily take down any enemy. The Quarrite Gun is no exception. Despite the stone splitting during firing, we still managed to land some headshots. 1,016 stealth critical damage from a single shot out of multiple is a lot, and 399 from a non-stealth critical shot is still great. Infinite ammo and free weapon repairs. You've got all the stone you need.
When the total damage of a weapon is more or less similar, considering projectile damage, critical, and stealth, and when the fire rate is also similar, how do we determine a winner? By the little big details. First of all, if the shots fired are accurate and the weapon is optimized by the developers. Numbers and stats are irrelevant without testing. From my tests, the submachine gun is optimized and works reliably every time. The assault rifle, unfortunately, needs to be reworked. But in any case, it would lose the comparison, as shown by the 9mm Chac armor-piercing round. They have the same projectile damage of 150, and the stealth critical shot of the submachine gun is slightly higher. 2,237 minus 2,070 is 167. 167 times 20 shots in the magazine equals 3,340 with plus 400 fire rate. 167 times 15 shots in the magazine equals 2,505 with plus 300 fire rate. Every magazine emptied by the submachine gun does 3,340 minus 2,505 equals 835 more damage compared to the assault rifle. And it does that with a speed difference of plus 100 fire rate per minute. The 5.56mm Chac round has 250 projectile damage versus the 200 of the 9mm Chac ammo, which is why you see higher damage in favor of the assault rifle. That said, ladies and gentlemen, the submachine gun is the strongest weapon in Icarus. When I use the firearm build, my inventory always includes submachine gun, trench shotgun, hunting rifle. If you liked my voice in this video too, give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and comment if you have any questions. There are more perfect builds to reveal. See you next time.